Alright, hello. Um, I'm going to do a Super Bowl 56 decode. I guess a decode. We're just going to just look through some of the narratives that are embedded in here. Boy, I was really expecting something to happen. Yes, I cried wolf a little bit again, didn't I? On the 2/13 date um, and on the 2/14 as well. You know, I really was expecting something to happen. A lot of stuff pointing towards those dates, a lot of stuff. Um, and so I'm not really done with that date yet. I'm gonna continue to look at that date, but well, just because it's so significant, I think. But in the meantime, I thought let's break down the Super Bowl halftime a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but there's some interesting stuff in it, and it's no coincidence that this is picked out to be the way it was, because it really does heavily reference 2/13. Yes, it's the day it happened on, but there's a lot more references in there to the 2/13 than one would. I guess I'm going to give you a couple of them in this than you would see on the surface. Let's put it that way. So, with that being said, the first thing to note is this setup, right? This is probably the best picture I could get from it on this in this video of it. And we've got like the grid. I've heard some other people call it the grid here. It's the street map, yeah, within a sort of oval shape. Now, yeah, I heard some people call it the grid. You could look at it as the matrix, the computer chip, all these different things. Why not look at it as what it is? It's a city. Yeah, this is the thing you come out of the wilderness to come and live in, to take advantage of all the false idols that we worship. Yeah, so we cut for all the creature comforts that we have. We come to the city. Yeah, people leave the farm, they migrate to the city because life's supposed to be better in the city. Okay, this is the control system. Yeah, whichever way you want to look at it. If you want to look at it as a microchip or a grid, or the web, or whatever way you want to look at it, it's the control system, and it's egg shaped here. So again, this is this would be the outer walls of the dam, or the egg that we're stuck inside. Yeah. Numbers, we've got the 1, 2, 3, and we've got 3 things that are supposed to be, I think these are interdispersed homes and businesses. Yeah, it's supposed to look like a street. So, but we've got these 3 bigger ones paired up with the 3 cars. Yeah, so if this was a home, which it is on this end, I believe, you've got the home, and then you've got the thing next to it paired with it, the thing that takes you on the voyage, on the Odyssey. So that's pretty interesting. So you got a 33 right there, and we can go through all the all of the little bits and bobs, and there's a ton of stuff in here. There's a ton. We've got some people here in the, well, that's a better that's a little bit better picture of it. This looks like a house, looks like a home, and then, but I think it's also on the other side, it's a business as well. So it's a bit sort of like two-faced. With the here's the business, Eve After Dark, right? This is the middle one. And what was interesting about this, what do I want to say about that? I mean, obviously we've got the barber over here and the bar, you know. That reference need to be explained, I don't know. But here, the Eve After Dark, this is a reference. I've got it up here somewhere. This is a reference to where Dr. Dre started, yeah. And at the beginning, he comes up through here. You know, he's elevated right here, and that's a reference to the nightclub where he began his journey, yeah. So this is the thing that created the Doctor right here, yeah, Eve, okay. And subsequently, this Doctor, he creates all of these characters as well, Snoop Dogg and Eminem, and so all the people that were in this were essentially people that he's created. Mary J Blige, and we'll go through a couple of the other ones here in a second. But these are his creations, if you like. So he's the Doctor, and this, I mean, it's, you know, again, it's a metaphor for the legal control system. Yeah, when you the guy that creates the first fiction is the Doctor. He writes that birth certificate. He's the guy that fills the birth certificate out. Yeah, so he creates the first fiction. Okay, and so we have this reference. So there's some good references in here, you know, for the way the control system works and what this character is, and, you know, all of the little characters that he creates. Yeah, and this is where it all originates from Eve, the dark Eve as well. Yeah, that's where that originates from, the dark fiction, the dark side of the Force. Okay, so well, I'll get up to speed here in a minute, because I mean, right now I'm thinking, oh, I've got so much stuff to get through. Now, let's go through. So anyway, I'll just show you the nightclub. It's not a very good shot of it, but this is the nightclub. Eve's After Dark is what it's called. And this is basically, I guess you could call it like, you know, maybe one of the homes of hip hop, I guess. I don't know. The same way as like house music came out of Chicago. You know, maybe this would be the home of hip hop. What do I want to say really? Anyway, I mean, I don't need to talk about this anymore. We've got the reference there. Okay, we've done the reference that we need to talk about. So let's do. Okay, so some of these other. Let's see what we've got here. This is another one of his characters that he's created. This guy was in the. I think he was playing the drums in the background there. So Anderson .Paak. So we've got the Anderson reference again. We're going to see some Agent Smith characters here in a minute, but we've got the Anderson reference. So again with the one and the Paak reference. Okay, because if you remember, Tupac, this is again another one of Dr. Dre's creations, early creations, if you like. I don't want to call them his creations. I mean, but he takes these people and makes them superstars. Yeah. Okay. He makes them the false idol, if you like. But Tupac, yeah. And so I just thought this was funny because, you know, when you go on a voyage, the first thing you need to do is you need to pack. Before you go on your odyssey, you need to pack. Yeah, and of course he dies 96, so we're right. We're just a few years before the start of the. I don't know if it's maybe. I don't know if it's the start of the Odyssey or the end of the Odyssey or the middle of the Odyssey with 2001. But it's just interesting that we have this reference to pack, and then so we need to pack for our voyage, and then, or when you leave home, you need to pack, and then of course when you return home, when the apocalypse happens and everything, all the screens are taken down and all the illusions are taken down, yeah. What do we end up with? We end up with, actually I don't have a tab up for him, but we end up with, we need to unpack at the end of that. And I can't, if you remember some older videos, I talk about Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un's nickname at school, one of his nicknames was Unpack. Yeah. So I think it was Pak-un and Pak Choi or something like that. But one of his nicknames was Unpack. So I mean, you can see where the storylines go in there, you know. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. Now, oh, here's the I thought I had this tab up. This is the people that Dr. Dre has, got their careers underway. You know, Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, and we'll talk about Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg here in just a second because something interesting with them. Eminem, 50 Cent. 50 Cent. You know, I could have sworn in one of my other videos I said I was talking about this Super Bowl. What I thought was going to happen, and I think I did talk about Dr. Dre being there, and I think maybe I'm imagining this, but I thought I mentioned fancy him not having 50 Cent at this, because 50 Cent is, just a ton of references with 50 Cent and all this dollar code and everything. And I was like thinking, I wonder why, it would make sense if 50 cents had, 50 Cent had been there. And who shows up? But 50 Cent. So here's the other guy, Kendrick Lamar. I couldn't get on with. I'm really not keen on that dude at all, in terms of his music. The other stuff I quite like the other stuff because I grew up on it. It's already been pre-programmed into my reality, I guess. And a lot of them are good. A lot of them are good tunes now. Yeah, some of there's a lot of depravity in it, and the swearing and all the other rubbish that's in there. But the actual tunes are pretty good. But this dude Kendrick Lamar, no, couldn't get on with that. And then here's this other guy, Anderson .Paak. And does it mention Mary J. Blige? I believe it ought to, because I believe, well, anyway, I believe that Dr. Dre discovered Mary J. Blige as well. So, what else do I want to say about the? Where do I want to go from here? Is what I'm thinking. Let's just talk about Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg just for a second, because again, with the 213 reference, Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Nate Dogg had a group called 213. Okay. In the back of my mind, I knew about. I say I knew about it. This, as soon as I rediscovered this, it's like, oh yeah, I remember now. It's amazing what you file away in the don't need complete nonsense pile, but yeah, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that now. So 213, that I was interested in, and of course, the reason why they've got the group name 213 is because of the area code of that area of LA, being 213. So again, with the area code referencing the place where the Super Bowl's at, again with Snoop Dogg referencing that. I mean, we're all, there's your extra 213 references. Well, what else do I want to say about the Super Bowl thing while I'm on the tabs, and then I'll go back to the actual clip there. Who Day. Who Day. I had completely forgotten about this. My daughter had mentioned this to me, and I must not have been listening correctly, because she's like, you know what? I told you about this like a week ago. And I was like, oh, okay. But this Who Day, this, the chant from the Bengals fans, Who Day. Man, if I'm just thinking out loud now, if I, just this simple fact here, almost, it's almost like, wow. You kind of expected them to see, if I was thinking along the lines of referencing the Hoover Dam again, boy, you would expect them to be in the Super Bowl based off of this. So this idea of Who Day, and then we had Dre Day in the thing as well. So I just, we had a couple of, references to a certain day. What that day is yet is I don't know, but again, this is sort of cross-referencing the Hoover Dam destruction back with this 213 again. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. This is just fascinating to me. I guess I'll go back to the what's this? Okay, let's talk. Let's do the Rams now. Let's talk about the Rams and their win here. Why? I mean, the obvious reason why the Rams won was because it was a home game. The Rams had come home, yeah, because originally, well, before we get into where they originally were from, they were back in the 80s, well, whenever, but they were in LA. So their recent journey from LA to St. Louis, right, and then back to LA is the completion of the homecoming again. So, of course, a home win for the home team with their homecoming. And I believe down here it actually had the number of years that they were away. And I think it may have even been 20 years. I really should have looked at this just before I... and, we can see some... I mean, look at it. In 41, Rams were bought by Dan Reeves. I mean, and Fred Levy Jr. Reeves. I mean, we're going to see some interesting names in here and some interesting bits and bobs about the team. I don't really want to waffle through all of this. You can go to Wikipedia and look at this stuff yourself. I thought what was interesting was that they started off in Ohio, the same place, the same home state as Cincinnati, the Bengals. So we've got this. Oh, I don't know what you want to call it. Like they're almost, I don't even call them twin teams, but they're from the same place originally. Or at least the same state. So it's just interesting that they have that sort of kind of a twinness, if you like. But I don't know what else to say about it, really. I mean, you can go through here and you can see all the interesting references. I want to say they were... I want to say it was 20 years between them going to St. Louis and then coming back again. Or going from LA to St. Louis and back again. It's probably in here somewhere. I know I've read it in here somewhere, but hopefully I'm not getting that wrong. But anyway, I'm waffling, and we don't really need to. We had a nice little reference to this, the Memorial Coliseum Stadium where they first started off, and also where Super Bowl I was played. So we had a nice little reference to that at the start of the game. We also had this character, The Rock. So we had The Rock, the Rock that's got to come away from the tomb, yeah, to allow man back out. Yeah, this thing's got to roll out of the way. So we had The Rock doing some kind of intro at the start of it. We had the coin toss was who was the coin toss? I missed the start of the thing. The coin toss was Billie Jean King. I mean, if out of all the names you could, I mean, just Billie Jean King. I mean, Billie Jean is the fiction, yeah. You have the William John, the Billie Jean, the King being reborn from the Billy Goat, the One, the John, the Jean, the Genie, Jenny, and you see how the references are almost merging at this point. It's just, I don't know what to say about it. I'm just, I probably ought to do this again. Anyway, that Kendrick Lamar, I'm just jumping all over the place here. I guess one of his big albums, I don't know, is called Damn, with an N on the end. So Damn, I just thought that was, I mean, the references are just, like I said, the references are just insane for this thing. I think I've done pretty much everything on my tabs now. I'm just trying to think if there's, yeah, I've got one more thing to come to, but I'm going to save that for the end. It's pretty interesting. Now, let's go back to this. So we do a Snoop Dogg and Dre number, and then we do, what else do we do? And he comes up and he's got his arms out like Christ to begin with, all the usual stuff. Like the man being born, and then he basically is going to introduce us to every one of his little prodigal sons. But what's interesting is, come on, this character shows up. The one that I thought ought to have been in it, 50 Cent. I mean, what? What do we say about 50 Cent? I've talked about this pose that he's in here before, I'm sure, in one of my other videos. He's got the halo, the ring around his head here, and I call it it's not really the halo. This is the, if you like, you could call it the crown of thorns, or what you could look at this 3 or 4 different ways. Yeah, okay, it's the corona, if you like. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to be birthed out from that now. Yeah, his heels. I'm gonna talk about this in a second, actually, a little bit deeper. But he's upside down. Yeah, this is the hangman pose that everybody goes on about all the time. Well, you're this way up when you're being birthed. Yeah, you're coming out head first. Yeah, look at the blood. Look at the red around him here. Yeah. He is in the womb at this point. This is the baby being birthed. Okay? This is the head poking out of the Vesica Pisces right here. Right? And that Vesica Pisces is the corona. Yeah, as well. It's the control system that he's stuck in, and he's being birthed out of it here. This is why he's upside down. I'm telling you, this is what it is. I heard somebody say about the bat, but the bat hangs upside down. Yeah, the bat is the man being reborn, I guess. I don't know how you want to look at it. The guy that can navigate the dark. Anyway, well, surprise, surprise, he was in it anyway. He does his little bit. I don't really know what else to say about that, other than, of course, we got the 50 Cent, and the 50 Cent being the halftime of the whole sequence. Remember the 25, the quarter code sequence, yeah. I'm not going to run through that again. That's on old videos. If you're new, you just have to go dig through what I'm talking about with the quarter code, with the dollar bill. Anyway, after him, we get to Mary J Blige, and she sings some interesting stuff. And interestingly, she's on top of him, yeah. But we're doing it in reverse here. But she's on top. Here's the fictional. You know, we've got a woman playing the role here, Mary J. J. Mary is up on top here, birthing 50 Cent. Okay, and at the end of it, she falls over and is laying there out on her back, almost like she died during childbirth. What else do I want to say about this? During this, this is interesting. During this little bit of music, I hate to try and play it. I don't, because I know NFL probably terrible about copyright stuff as well. But during this, they play a little sample in here, and it's the dun 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 dun. Now that terrible bit of music that I just did is actually better than that in real life. It's from Tears for Fears, right? It's Head Over Heels. It's that song, you know, the one with the four-leaf clover mentioned in it. Super interesting because little matey boy here has just gone head over heels. He's falling out of. That's what it means to be head over heels. It means upside down. Even though it would be better to say heels over heads, but or heels over head. The term is head over heels, but that means to be kind of upside down, turned around. You know, it's mentioned a lot. You know, you're head over heels in love. You know, you're kind of disorientated, and so this is what 50 Cent is right now. He's head over heels. He's being born. So again, with the head over heels reference, and that's also again with the 14th and falling back in love with the fiction. You know, re-establishing the fiction with the reset, and then re-establishing the fiction after that. Interesting, anyway, that they put that in there, because there's a couple of little more references with this Tears for Fears thing. I'm not going to do this video now, but again, they're in the library in the music video for this song. And again, we're talking about the fiction, yeah? We're in the library. That's where the fiction is generated. And there's some interesting. I'll have to do a video on it separate. I don't really have enough time. You know, there's a couple of nice little references. Actually, let's just do it now. Bugger it. Let's see if I can do it. 2 minutes. Anyway, it starts off. He's coming back into the fiction through the Vesica Pisces here. This is what's his name? Anyway, Roland is. Anyway, we got Roland coming in through the Vesica Pisces back into the fiction. It looks like he's wanting to return all of the fiction that he's been dealt in life, or he's overloaded with the fiction, or whatever. He's overwhelmed with the fiction. He's returning it. Anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff in it. We've got a chimp with the red sock on, with the Red Sox jersey on, and of course, when you're born, you're pretty much going to have red socks on. Yeah, you're coming out, and you're going to be fairly bloody when you come out, and not to mention the red sock as well, with the reference to the Colorado River. That would be one of the legs of Lake Mead, the red sock. I mean, what else with the red sock? And I guess the woman would have red socks on as well. well, maybe not quite socks, but definitely a lot of blood. And you could go through that with a lot more. Another reference to the red sock would be the flesh that covers the bone. Yeah, the flesh of the body that covers the fictional white of the bone. Yeah, like the skull being the moon, and then the flesh covering that, which we've gone through before with the idea of the red cross and the blood moon and all these different references to having the fictional, the feminine back in balance with the physical as well. Oh, anyway, it's interesting stuff because Kurt in the background here is a cleaner in this. Of all things, he's a cleaner. So he's sweeping the floors. Again, where have we seen that in that Katy Perry? You know, the sweeper again, the cleaner, the Hoover. He's returning this stuff, blah blah blah. But he's, he can't help but be head over heels in love with, here she is, the feminine, the thing that creates the fiction. Or what is the fiction? I guess man creates the fiction, the unholy fiction. Anyway, this is a nice little scene here. We got a reference to Ghostbusters here. He opens the drawer and all the cards come flipping out. Again, it's like the start of Ghostbusters. They start off in where the fiction's created, in the library. That's where they start Ghostbusters off. I mean, this is why we're seeing this stuff referenced over and over again. And there's some other interesting stuff in there with the rabbi, and again with the rabbi. I mean, anytime you see that kind of reference, you've got to be thinking gematria, and that's kind of the origin of like looking at reality, the stories of reality with numbers involved with it as well. You know what I mean? Oh, look at this guy with the gas mask on, and then we have this little bit here where he comes up to her and he pulls out a fake gun. Look, there's the fake bang event. I mean, ton of stuff in here, ton of stuff. But that's pretty much it. But I just thought it was interesting because this song shows up in another interesting film as well, Donnie Darko. So again, that is a super interesting film. Again, about the end of the world, about sacrificing oneself to save the world. If you've seen the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's been a ton of people going about Donnie Darko, but I just wonder whether they really realise what the film's about or not. Whether it's just this running up the the doom and gloom stuff all the time, when really, I've said this before, it's like the truth of reality is at the core of everything. You can't get away from it. It's right there. It's the truth of reality is that point which everything goes back to. So you can't help but see the truth in everything that's around us. It's just whether or not you're going to believe the fictional lie that somebody's put over that truth, or whether you're going to see what the real truth of it is. And it's the same with the 33 and all the other stuff. I'm not saying that clearly people do bad things with it. People lie. People generate that lie in order to manipulate people. But the actual truth, the thing that they are, building the lie around, the actual truth of that thing is actually divine in nature. So it's, it's kind of it's a very, I don't know, it's a very interesting way reality works. Anyway, go back on this stand, you're waffling. Okay, Mary J is gonna. She does some crazy song as well that was a complete load of rubbish. Then she falls over. Let's see if she'll do it. There, she's gone over. And then here we go. We got the Agent Smith characters, with their sashes on. Dre Day, Dre Day. And I saw somebody at anagram that for Red Day. And of course, Red Day again with the red socks I was just talking about. No, I mean, anyway, I was trying to think. Yeah, I don't really know what these are the Agent Smith characters, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of that old 1984 Super Bowl advert. The one that Scott did for Apple. I think it was for Apple. But anyway, it kind of just reminded me of that a little bit. They're kind of jacking the boxing out of those boxes. I saw somebody else had mentioned the crate at the start of I Pet Goat, with the goats in the little crate. Yeah, I don't know what you want to. I don't know. Opening the package, I don't know. You could look at it a number of different ways, and they do a little march routine thing there. Probably, I'm not quite sure what numbers. This is the bit I wanted to get to. What number they actually end up marching out there, but this part here, where this end blows off, and of course everybody's like, yo, look, he's on the pyramid here. Eminem's on top of the pyramid. Well, I was looking at this and I said, that what that reminds me more of, rather than I mean, it is the pyramid. Don't get me wrong, it is the pyramid, but look at the way that this is broken along here. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, again, like the Chiefs arrowhead, with the flint napped edges. The rough edges. It would have been better if it had been a bit more like that. But again, we've got several little references right here. I thought, yes, that's a good reference to an arrowhead there. It's a good reference to the pyramid as well, of course. And you've almost got the Twin Towers here as well. Yeah. Right, if you were just to split this here, you've got one tower busted here, the other tower busted here. I'm surprised they didn't put just like an extra little bit of highlight right here. But anyway, what do I want to say? Eminem did his little bit of stuff. I don't really care for Eminem stuff either. It's pretty. I just don't gel with it very well. What else? I think that's pretty much it. You can kind of get this egg shape better now. Yeah, the city state that everybody's trapped in. And we got the, I mean, this again I thought was interesting with the idea of the maypole again. I just got that hint of maypole with that, with the, I don't know. Anyway, so, and there is a date coming up in May that references the 213 quite nicely. So I I don't know. Again, I don't know. The only thing that I do think is that I think that something is going to happen this year before September the 11th. So anyway, I think that was pretty much it. What was interesting about the end of this is that in their little bit that's 1441 or 1440 there, 144, another nice little reference. At the end of this, with the fireworks going off, they did put, which you don't see, I didn't think we saw in the Super Bowl, but you do see Dr. Dre. He's come up through the eye of the axe head here. And again, the time frame that we're looking at, it's a little bit more than 20 years, but again, it's like a cycle coming around. I don't know if I was to go back and try and find out the numbers, whether it would come out round about the 33 mark or not, but it would be interesting to find out when he first started, what his first major thing was, and then, what this date, how that comes in alignment with it. But potentially it could have been 33 years. I don't know. I think that's it. Now, I was thinking about this. So anyway, with the, I'm like, with this blooming thing, I was like, there's 213. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I was looking at this wrong. Maybe I should have gone backwards in time and seen if there was a major event that happened on this day, 20 odd years ago. Because I'm looking at it now. Maybe it already happened, and so as big as this date is, I believe that somehow these two dates are going to now reference this date. I'm not sure, and I want to, in the next video, I'm going to talk about this. There's a 55 and an 88 here, and there's a couple other numbers here. One number that's there is 116 as well. So I want to talk about this number in another video. So I don't really want to do it now, but I decided I'd look back at 20 odd years ago and see whether we had something significant. And this is going to blow your mind right now. So this is what I found. So from 2001, if we go back 20 years, we're at 1981. Okay, 13th of February. Oh, look at this. A series of explosions destroyed more than 13 miles of sewer lines and streets in the center of Louisville. I don't know if you say Louisville or Louisville. I say Louisville. Louisville. The Lou. The 007. Yeah, the Lou. What people in England call the toilet. The Lou. The Lou. You can't write this stuff with all the reference we've had to. We've got Washington in the Lou seat. We've got all the toilet paper references. We've had a ton of references to the Lou. The 007 as well. Louisville, of all places. 13 miles of sewer destroyed. Look, it says the blasts were caused by the ignition of hexane vapors, which have been legally discharged from a soybean processing plant owned by Ralston Purina, located on Floyd Street. Yeah, Floyd Street. Was it Haywood? I think it was Haywood Floyd, wasn't it? In 2001. The guy that's put in charge of covering up the moon thing. Isn't that interesting? I'll tell you what else is interesting. Let's look at some of the pictures of it. Here we go. Look at some of these pictures. I asked my wife if she had ever heard about this, and she said, well, this is before my time, come on. But look at this destruction. Nobody was killed. I think there was a couple of people injured, but look at this. This destruction goes all the way. You probably can't see it on my screen, but it goes all the way up here, and this is the kind of, what this reminds me of, with that big cave in there as well. In Superman, when the dam does break, especially those cars. Lewis Lane goes down the crack in the earth. Yeah, just nuts. So kind of was a car like that, I think, as well. But look at this great big. This is mental. Look at that car flipped over. Look at this. Just look at it. That is absolutely insane. I don't know how many truthers out there have, oh look, Bud here, we got Bud. How many truthers out there I've heard about this, but to happen on that day, 20 years previous, this is this is something. This isn't nothing. Um, Look at it. I mean, crazy, crazy. Anyway, what more do I say about it? Um, look at the holes in the roofs there where big chunks of road have come in, and I guess all the manhole covers blew off further up and all this stuff. So I mean, just insane, really. Um, definitely, definitely interesting with all the talk about the sewer pipes. You know, Biff and the manure, and when you are birthed, yeah, and you come out of that pipe work, right? Which this is what this is a reference to. There's a piece of pipe work next to that piece of pipe work, and a little something else usually pushes out at the same time. Kind of end up having a poop twin that's usually. I mean, if you ever watched an animal birthing, I mean, of course, I watch my sheep lambing all the time. But if you ever watch that, you will notice that more often than not, some turds come out at the same time, and the problem is, metaphorically speaking, it's the turd that's in charge. And number 11 on there, look at that. Action News 11, what was it? WAS 11. But now it might only be 200 or 300 yards of road there that's really destroyed, but I mean it's pretty well destroyed. I guess that's enough waffle. I hope you enjoyed this, and I am going to look at just a couple more dates here coming up. But I don't know anymore. I just haven't got a clue, because I really don't have a clue. But it is interesting to try to do the jigsaw, I guess. I guess reality right now has got me wrapped around its little finger, because I'm well caught up with this jigsaw puzzle for sure, but I just don't know. I mean, it's insane, really. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. God bless, and it shouldn't be too much longer before I do this next one on these other numbers, because there's 2 or 3 really interesting connections to this 213 and to pi as well. So because of course all the references to pi, and that's the thing that's going to be going bye. So anyway, yeah, cheers. All right, bye.